All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about where did all the innovation and talent that was in Open Solaris and Solaris, where did that go, and why should you care? So my theory is that Solaris and all the new derivatives out of it have a lot of innovations and a lot of technologies that make it a far better server OS than most of the current Linux distributions. Why is that? One of the things I'll put up on the top of the list is ZFS. If you've never used ZFS, you really should give it a try. You get file system, storage manager, logical volume manager, tools. It's based on copy on write, so your data and metadata is never rewritten in place. Makes it very fast, and it enables things like snapshots and all the other things here. You create a pool of storage using disks of all kinds of different types. So big slow disks, fast SSDs, puts them in the right place, uses the SSDs for caching. You can look up rampant layering violation if you want to see why the Linux people think it's bad and why the Solaris people think it's good. You get checksums, so every write and every read is verified as it comes off and onto disk, so you can autocorrect errors during a scrub as long as you have redundancy. What they found actually were quite a few storage bugs on disk controllers and things that you would normally think were reliable. You get consistent snapshots, so anytime you want to snapshot your file system while it's running, even under load, ZFS snapshot. It's basically Time Machine on steroids if you've used a Mac, but you can get views back in time of the whole pool or an individual file system. And unlike Linux late LVM, you can just CD into your snapshots directory, you can do diffs and everything against that. You can clone them very fast because it's copy on write, it just copies a few pointers across. You can get write time deduplication, built-in encryption. And versus BetterFS, I haven't still seen a Linux system that's actually shipping with BetterFS or can even boot off with BetterFS, and you get 10 years of real-world production debugging. So here's a real-world use case for when you're ready to do a upgrade or a patch of your OS and your software. Clone your file system, upgrade the clone, and then reboot off your clone. You're upgraded, and if you want to roll back, you just reboot off the original. And you can diff off the original using that directory trick. Solaris has really elegant virtualization. You get containers, aka zones. They're like BSD jails, only way, way better. So you get a separate user land, separate file systems, you get resource controls, but you've got a shared kernel and direct I/O. So, have you ever tried to run a serious database process under virtualization? You're going to hit a whole bunch of I/O pain, and you're not going to hit that under Solaris containers because there is no I/O overhead for its virtualization. One recent addition in the open source Illumos-based OSs that I'll talk about in a second is KVM. So they've ported Linux KVM over to Solaris, and you can run any x86 64-bit OS as guest. Then you get all the zone controls and all of the ZFS snapshot fun underneath it. So you can snapshot and clone your VMs with no storage overhead until you start writing to it. You can virtualize your network cards, so you can meter the flow, you can partition it. You've got DTrace, so you can instrument your system. You can figure out where all your performances are. There is an amazing tool called IO Top, so what process is using all the IO in my system. Just try and figure that out on a Linux box. You can leave it running all the time to feed your monitoring and metric systems. And with probes in KVM, you can even probe which of your virtual machines are hogging the system. And there's a whole bunch of articles. If you just Google Brendan and System Trap, you'll find out why DTrace is way much better than System Tap. You get rock-solid production servers. So SMF, if you've ever tried to start up your services in a specific order, SMF tries to start them up in order. When a process dies, it'll restart it automatically. FMA will diagnose your hardware. You get your fair share scheduler, so it's not going to fall over under load. And all these people went to a project called Illumos, illumos.org. It's spawned off several different distributions, Nexenta, SmartOS, and OpenIndiana. SmartOS is pretty awesome. I would say give it a try. But it's basically built for your own cloud infrastructure and scaling. You can create a new VM, spin up a new VM using the cloning mechanisms. And last but not least, in memory of what was Sun, This was what Scott McNeely left as his summary. Kick butt, had fun, didn't cheat, loved our customers, changed computing forever. And I would say Oracle's the exact opposite.